Hi, thanks for tuning in to flynslive.com. The reason why I'm putting this video together is because we've had a number of people, when I put up posters for our most recent event here at the Blue Note, ask me, who the hell is Flynn? So I'm putting together this video to show you guys just a little bit of my history producing shows around New York and a little bit around the country from my past experience. But mostly my music background is what I'm covering in this video. So please come down to the Blue Note in Napa, downtown, right on Main Street, to check out the Mix It Up live open session for musicians to come down and sit in with the house band. So check out the video. This is a whole bunch of the old stuff that I produced, and we'll get a little bit of a peek of what's going to come on down here at the Blue Note. Check it out. Thank you. That's it.
So who is Flynn? Well, I guess I'm just one of those kids who always dreamt of being a rock star and never really grew out of it. I grew up in Connecticut, near the coastline. Average nuclear family, 2 parents, 2 kids, a dog. And our town had a population of about 5,000. Kind of small, kind of boring. Although, I've always had a bizarre obsession with guitars, so I made my very first one when I was 16. The BC Rich Warlock and the Les Paul were my muse. I usually played and practiced on my own, but I always connected with other musicians, talked about music, and since the beach was a big influence on our town, of course I ended up working down at the local tourist trap. But I was more attracted to the live music venues for sure. That's when I met this man, Ulysses Gallman, a middle school science teacher who moonlights as a professional DJ. And man, this guy taught me how to not throw, but conduct a party. He was a huge influence in the way I look at entertainment. And while working on his cable access TV show, Ulysses and His Party Thing, as a camera person, I had my own vision. So, with inspiration and experience in hand, I coerced my friends to help me produce my own cable access show.
We are rolling. This is Rock Syndicate.
In our town, this was our answer to boredom. After being exposed to MTV after 1980, thanks to Ulysses, I knew how to make it work. Once we started with the production, I knew I wanted to get into a music video career. And we had a format that had fans writing in regularly. So then, when I left for college in Philadelphia, unfortunately, Rock Syndicate wasn't continued. So then I started going to the Art Institute of Philadelphia for music video business, and I really loved the sound engineering. I soon obtained my first internship at the famous Sigma Sound Studios and got to meet and work with artists like Patti LaBelle, The Hooters, and even Cyndi Lauper on her Hatful of Stars album. Once out of school, I started working as live sound engineer at a place called Crystal Taylor Systems near Bethel, Pennsylvania. And my very first live show was doing monitors for Tori Amos on her Little Earthquakes tour. That was really awesome. Talk about getting a lot of experience on a live set. But I'll admit, Philly really wasn't my town, and my goal was to move to and work in New York City. So in 1993, I moved upstate New York to Westchester County. That's when I met my band Gage. We instantly clicked. The second we started playing, we all knew something really cool was happening. And I'll have to say, I've never met a bunch of guys I found the pocket with so fast in my whole life. We immediately fit together. While we were always invited back to the places we played, eventually it was like I ended up in a Bryan Adams song. The drummer quit for work, a few guys got married. We really could have gone so much further, but alas, that didn't happen. I just loved playing music. I would always go back to DJing. And I've been able to DJ basically everything from weddings to raves to nightclubs to underground warehouse parties. But I have to admit, most of all, I loved building guitars. When I was playing bass in a band called The Violets, I started building us all custom guitars because, well, I could. This one I built for Maud because it was based on a Gibson SG, which she always wanted. As for any other guitar manifesto I might offer, my 2 greatest influences guitar-wise have always been mostly George Lynch of Dokken and Lynch Mob fame, and Eddie Van Halen. Flair and taste win the day for me. Speed is one thing, but the use of silence and tone makes the biggest impact in my book. These two are just that for me. So, when I build guitars, I build just for me, really. What I like. I found a black Strat in the trash one day, and I turned it into my own Frankenstrat tribute to Eddie Van Halen. The funny thing is, the first tune I actually played on it was Eruption. I've never even tried to play that song, and it just flowed out of me. It was the strangest thing. So after I've built a few six strings, I knew I needed a bass. I bought myself an Ibanez, but I wanted something better. So I made George's Skeleton a bass version. And voila, I had my Mr. Bassy. As I would meet amazing artists in and around Brooklyn and New York City, my mind would constantly move into producer mindset. These people are so talented. How can we do something fun together? It was just my default thought. Usually, I would be part of the talent since I would like to perform anyways, but I was always doing something, producing some new show. Just around 2005, LEDs and L-Wire were hugely popular for the party community. So in 2010, when Tron Legacy was about to be released, I instantly knew a live show would go over fantastically. It was a free show with a ton of volunteers, and we used publicly posted videos from the movie and wove them into live action sequences that we would perform on stage. Honestly, this is one of the coolest shows I've ever done. And the effort by everyone involved was epic beyond any expectations. In early 2014, I was hired by a company called ProX to be a Photoshop jockey, but when the owners saw the extent of what I could offer them, that quickly turned into the position of becoming their creative director. I was able to redesign and launch a new website, hired and signed on new and exciting artists to our endorsement roster, and completely rebranded the entire company's marketing position, using almost the entire Adobe Creative Suite. I needed to reproduce our catalogs and all instruction manuals for our lighting and laser products, and even worked with our laser lighting manufacturer in China to direct all legalization parameters for our imported products with the U.S. Federal Office for the Food and Drug Administration. With our new branding in place, we hit many biz expos around the country, including the famous NAMM show in Los Angeles. Ever since the 2015 show, ProX Live Performance Gear has increased its market footprint and built upon the standards I helped put in place. I even had some fun creating a mascot for them called Mr. X, who was over 7 feet tall since I was wearing construction stilts. But music is always there for me, so if I'm DJing, engineering a live show, or playing with new musicians, I'm at home in a wall of sound. And now I get to play in one of the most respected venues in the world, the Blue Note in Napa, California.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Flynn's Dash Can.
Originally, I wanted to have a party every year for my birthday and arrange a few songs to play with musician friends of mine at the parties. We kept going for a couple of years and had a ton of fun together. And it also gave me the opportunity to play a bunch of different instruments as well. Rock, punk, Funk, slow jams, some 80s tunes, lots of 90s, and especially grunge. And then, fortunately for my 40th birthday, I was offered to open for a larger all-night party that was going to be held in Times Square. I finally had my name in lights off Broadway. That was truly an over-the-top show with a fantastic crowd. The documentary on Pearl Jam's 20th anniversary came out, and I got the idea for a big Grunge 20 tribute concert at the enormous Gramercy Theater in Midtown Manhattan. I assembled some great bands together in the spirit of grunge, with everybody playing covers from the most famous bands in the Seattle area, and I got to sing with a bunch of bands myself. It was also a prime opportunity to get my favorite band back together.
Gage reunited after 13 years, ladies and gentlemen. You're seeing here tonight.
How are you guys doing? You guys ready to have a good time? Awesome, because I am too.